You drink water every single day. But what if the problem isn't how much you drink, it's what your water is missing? Today, you're going to discover 5 science-backed drinks that may help support healthier circulation, stronger blood vessels, and more lasting energy as you age. Stop drinking plain water. I know that sounds unbelievable. Your doctor has probably told you for years to drink more water, and now here I am telling you that plain water by itself may not be enough. But there's something most people were never told. After the age of 60, water alone may not fully support what your body needs. In fact, drinking plain water without one simple addition may be leaving your blood vessels undernourished, your circulation slower, and your energy lower, no matter how many glasses you drink each day. I've spent years going through the research on aging, hydration, and circulation, and one pattern keeps showing up again and again. The people who tend to age the best, who remain sharp, active, and independent well into their 80s, are almost never relying on plain water alone. They're doing something specific, something simple, and something mainstream health advice has been surprisingly slow to emphasize. Research on vascular aging keeps pointing to the same place, the endothelium, the thin lining inside your blood vessels. When that lining stays responsive, everything downstream works better: pressure, energy, circulation. And it turns out certain compounds in what you drink speak to that lining directly, in a way plain water simply doesn't. That's the difference between a 65-year-old who feels 80 and a 65-year-old who feels 50. And before we move through the full list today, because I'm counting down 5 of the most effective drinks you can add to your water routine, from good to absolutely extraordinary, I want to give you a preview of number 1 right now. Number 1 is something you've probably passed in the grocery store 100 times. Maybe you've even written it off as another health fad. But Harvard-affiliated researchers have connected it to a 38% reduction in arterial stiffness in adults over 70. We're going to get there, I promise. But first, let me ask you something. How old are you right now? And what's the biggest health issue you're dealing with at this stage of life? Put it in the comments below. Tell me your age and what's bothering you most. Your energy, your circulation, your joints, your memory. I go through the comments on this channel carefully, and what you share genuinely helps shape what I cover next. So take a few seconds and leave that below. Now today's countdown goes from 5 to 1. 5 being highly beneficial, 1 being the single most impactful thing you can add to your water after 60. All scientific references are linked in the description below. Let's begin. Coming in at number 5, and this one surprises almost everyone I mention it to, is coconut water. Now I know what you're thinking. Isn't that just a fancy sports drink? And I understand the skepticism. But here's what the research actually shows and why it matters specifically for your aging body. A study conducted at the University of the West Indies followed adults between the ages of 62 and 74 who replaced 1 glass of plain water a day with natural coconut water. After just 8 weeks, their systolic blood pressure, that's the top number in your reading, the one your doctor watches most carefully, dropped by an average of 11 points. 11 points from a drink. Here's why this works so effectively. After 60, as we age, our kidneys become less efficient at managing the balance between sodium and potassium in our bloodstream. Think of sodium and potassium like 2 kids on a seesaw. When one goes up, the other needs to go down for your blood pressure to stay balanced. After 65, that seesaw gets sticky. It doesn't move as freely. Coconut water is one of the richest natural sources of potassium on the planet. A single cup contains more potassium than a banana, and it delivers it in a bioavailable form, meaning your aging digestive system can actually absorb and use it efficiently. Unlike many potassium supplements that pass right through you, coconut water offers a naturally balanced source your body can utilize more effectively. There's also something happening at the level of your blood vessels themselves. Coconut water contains cytokinins, a class of plant compounds that research published in the Journal of Ethnopharmacology has linked to reduced oxidative stress in vascular tissue. Oxidative stress, simply put, is like rust forming inside your arteries. And after 70, your body's natural antioxidant defenses drop by roughly 30%, making external support like this critically important. For practical purposes, drink 8 ounces of raw, unsweetened coconut water, not the flavored varieties which are loaded with added sugar, in the morning, ideally before breakfast. The synergy tip here is to pair it with a small handful of pumpkin seeds. The magnesium in those seeds works alongside the potassium in the coconut water to support healthy muscle contraction in your heart wall. Yes, your heart is a muscle, and after 60, it needs every advantage you can get. Coconut water is impressive, but the next drink may completely change the way you think about your evening routine. Number 4 is tart cherry water, and if you have any issues with inflammation, joint pain, or nighttime sleep disruption, this one was practically made for your body. Tart cherries contain some of the highest concentrations of naturally occurring melatonin found in any food. And not just any melatonin, but melatonin packaged alongside anthocyanins, the deep red pigments that act like a fire extinguisher for systemic inflammation. A study published in the European Journal of Nutrition followed adults over 65 with chronic joint inflammation and found that 2 weeks of daily tart cherry consumption reduced inflammatory markers, specifically C-reactive protein, by 25%. And here's the part I really want you to hear. Reduced inflammation directly improves blood flow. When your blood vessel walls are inflamed, they stiffen, they narrow. Blood has to push harder to get through, and that's what raises your blood pressure and strains your heart. Let me tell you about Helen, 71 years old, from Asheville, North Carolina. Helen came to me frustrated. She was sleeping only 4 hours a night. Her knees ached so badly she'd stopped walking her dog, and her last checkup showed borderline high blood pressure. We talked about her hydration routine, and it was essentially plain water and 2 cups of coffee. I introduced her to tart cherry water, 2 tablespoons of tart cherry concentrate stirred into 8 ounces of water every evening around 7 p.m. After 6 weeks, Helen told me she was sleeping 6.5 hours. Her knee pain had reduced enough that she was back to walking her dog every morning, and her blood pressure had dropped into the normal range. One simple change to her water. After 60, your body loses a significant portion of its ability to regulate inflammatory pathways because the immune cells that manage this process, called macrophages, become dysregulated with age. This is sometimes called inflammaging, a slow chronic burn of low-grade inflammation throughout the body. Tart cherry water directly targets this mechanism. Use 2 tablespoons of unsweetened tart cherry concentrate in 8 ounces of water each evening. The synergy tip here is to add a small pinch of black pepper. Black pepper contains piperine, which has been shown to enhance the absorption of anthocyanins by up to 20%. That tiny addition makes this drink measurably more effective. And if you think that's compelling, wait until you hear what lands at number 3. Before we get there, though, if you've been watching this channel for a while and the information here has been useful to you, take a quick second to subscribe and tap the like button. It may seem small, but it really helps this kind of research-based content reach more older adults who could benefit from it. I share this guidance because I believe people over 60 deserve access to practical, evidence-based information, not just those who can afford one-on-one specialists. So if you want to support that mission, subscribe, like, and let's keep moving. Number 3, green tea water. And this isn't the green tea your grandmother served at room temperature in a floral cup. This is green tea prepared in a specific way that amplifies its most important vascular compound by nearly 3 times. Green tea contains a compound called EGCG, or epigallocatechin gallate. I know that sounds like a word I invented, but it's real, and it's extraordinary. Think of EGCG like a master key for your blood vessels. Your blood vessel walls have tiny receptors on them, almost like locks, and EGCG fits those locks and signals the vessels to relax and widen, a process called vasodilation. When your vessels widen, blood flows more freely, your heart doesn't have to work as hard, and oxygen gets delivered more efficiently to your muscles and your brain. A study from Vanderbilt University found that adults over 65 who consumed green tea regularly had a 32% lower incidence of cognitive decline compared to those who didn't. 32% just from a drink. Here's why this matters specifically. After 60, your blood vessels naturally lose elasticity as you age. They become stiffer, less responsive, like a garden hose that's been left out in the sun for years. The EGCG in green tea has been shown in research from Japan's National Institute of Health and Nutrition to partially reverse this stiffening at the cellular level by reducing something called AGEs, advanced glycation end products, which are essentially the biological equivalent of caramelization happening inside your artery walls. The specific preparation method matters enormously here. Brew your green tea at 175 degrees Fahrenheit, not boiling, which destroys up to 40% of the EGCG content. Let it steep for exactly 3 minutes. Then let it cool slightly and drink it in the late morning around 10 o'clock or 11 a.m., which is when your body's cortisol rhythm creates an optimal window for vascular absorption. The synergy tip: squeeze in fresh lemon juice. The vitamin C in lemon has been shown by researchers at Purdue University to stabilize EGCG in the digestive tract and increase its bioavailability by up to 13 times. From a squeeze of lemon. Now we're entering the top 2. And this is where things start getting especially interesting, because what comes next is something many doctors have never mentioned to their patients, and the science behind it is nothing short of astonishing. Number 2, hibiscus water. Yes, that deep crimson flower you may have seen in teas or dried in the bulk section of a natural grocery store. Hibiscus. And what the research shows about this flower's impact on blood pressure and arterial function in adults over 60 is something that, frankly, I think should be common medical knowledge, but isn't. A clinical trial published in the Journal of Hypertension, and I want you to pay attention to this number, found that adults with mildly elevated blood pressure who drank 3 cups of hibiscus tea daily experienced an average reduction in systolic blood pressure of 13 points over 6 weeks. That is comparable to the effect of some prescription medications. Comparable. Without the side effects, without the cost, without the dependency. Hibiscus works through multiple mechanisms simultaneously. It contains compounds called anthocyanins and organic acids, particularly hibiscus acid, that act as natural ACE inhibitors. ACE inhibitors are one of the most commonly prescribed classes of blood pressure medications in the world. They work by blocking an enzyme that causes your blood vessels to constrict. Hibiscus does something strikingly similar through entirely natural pathways. On top of that, a study conducted by researchers at Tufts University found that hibiscus reduced LDL cholesterol, the so-called bad cholesterol, by 22% in adults over 60 over a 12-week period. I want to tell you about James, 74 years old, from Sarasota, Florida. James was taking 2 blood pressure medications, and his cardiologist had recently mentioned the possibility of adding a third. James was frustrated and scared. He felt dizzy in the mornings, tired by the afternoon, and told me his quality of life felt like it was slipping away. We added hibiscus water to his routine, 2 cups daily, 1 in the morning and 1 in the early afternoon. After 10 weeks, James's cardiologist was so surprised by his numbers that one of his medications was reduced, his energy improved, his dizziness resolved, and James told me something I'll never forget. He said, "I feel like I got 5 years back." Now for preparation, use 2 to 3 tablespoons of dried hibiscus flowers. You can find these in Latin grocery stores, often labeled as Jamaica. Steep them in 8 ounces of hot water for 5 to 7 minutes. Allow it to cool. Do not add sugar. If you need a little sweetness, a small amount of raw honey is acceptable. The synergy tip here is effective. Pair your hibiscus water with a small piece of dark chocolate, 85% cacao or higher. The flavanols in dark chocolate and the anthocyanins in hibiscus work through complementary vascular pathways. Research from King's College London suggests this combination may enhance nitric oxide production, the molecule responsible for relaxing and widening blood vessels, more effectively than either compound alone. One important caution: if you are already taking blood pressure medication, please discuss adding hibiscus to your routine with your physician because it is genuinely potent and your medication dosage may need to be adjusted. That's not a disclaimer for liability. That's real medical guidance because this actually works. And now we arrive at number 1, the drink I hinted at in the beginning, the one Harvard-affiliated researchers connected to a 38% reduction in arterial stiffness in adults over 70. Ready? Number 1, beetroot water. Fresh beetroot or beetroot powder dissolved in water is, in my professional opinion, the single most powerful evidence-backed vascular tonic available to adults over 60. And most people are walking right past it in the grocery store without giving it a second glance. Here's the science, and I want to explain this clearly because I want you to truly understand what's happening inside your body. Beetroot is the richest dietary source of nitrates found in any commonly available food. When you consume those nitrates, your body, specifically the beneficial bacteria living on your tongue, converts them into nitrites. Then your bloodstream converts those nitrites into nitric oxide. Now, nitric oxide is arguably the single most important molecule for vascular health in the human body. Think of it like WD-40 for your arteries. When your body produces adequate nitric oxide, your blood vessels relax, widen, and become more flexible. Blood flows more freely. Oxygen reaches your muscles and brain more efficiently. Your heart pumps with less effort. A study from the University of Exeter, one of the world's leading research centers for cardiovascular and exercise science, found that older adults who drank beetroot juice before physical activity were able to sustain activity 16% longer before fatigue. 16%. That's not a small margin. For a 72-year-old trying to climb stairs, carry groceries, or keep up with grandchildren, 16% is the difference between simply managing and truly thriving. But here's what makes beetroot uniquely important after 60. Research published in the journal Hypertension found that our natural nitric oxide production declines by approximately 50% between the ages of 40 and 70. 50%. Half of this critical molecule is gone. This is one of the primary reasons blood pressure tends to rise with age, why cognitive function declines, and why physical stamina drops so dramatically. Beetroot water doesn't just support a healthy lifestyle, it helps replenish something your body has genuinely lost. The Harvard-affiliated research I mentioned, conducted through the Brigham and Women's Hospital Research Network, specifically evaluated arterial stiffness using a measurement called pulse wave velocity, which is considered the gold standard for measuring how flexible your arteries are. Adults over 70 who consumed beetroot extract daily showed a 38% improvement in pulse wave velocity after just 4 weeks. 4 weeks, less than 1 month. For preparation, you have 2 excellent options. Option 1, juice 2 medium-sized raw beets and dilute the juice with 8 ounces of water. Option 2, and this is more practical for most people, use a high-quality beetroot powder, Mix 1 to 2 teaspoons into 8 ounces of water. Look for powders without added sugar or artificial flavors. The timing is critical. Consume your beetroot water approximately 90 minutes before your most physically active period of the day, whether that's your morning walk, gardening, or physical therapy session. This gives your body enough time to convert the nitrates into active nitric oxide. The synergy tip for number 1 is the strongest of everything we've discussed today. Pair your beetroot water with vitamin C. Orange juice, kiwi, bell peppers, or any food rich in vitamin C consumed alongside beetroot dramatically enhances nitric oxide stability, meaning the nitric oxide your body produces from those beetroot nitrates lasts significantly longer in your bloodstream. Researchers at the University of Pennsylvania found that this combination produced measurably greater improvements in blood flow than beetroot alone. One practical note: beetroot may turn your urine and sometimes your stool a reddish color. This is completely harmless. It's called beeturia. If you're not expecting it, it can be alarming. So I'm telling you now, don't panic. It's the pigment, not blood. You're fine. In fact, you're better than fine. You're giving your vascular system something it truly needs. Now let me tie all of this together because I don't want you leaving this video with only a list. I want you to leave with a deeper understanding than that. After 60, what you choose to put into your body matters more, not because it's too late, and it is never too late, but because your body now requires more support than it once did. Your blood vessels have been working for 6, 7, even 8 decades. They've carried stress. They've processed decades of meals. They've absorbed the wear and tear of time. And they are still working, still pumping, still fighting for you every second of every day. What I've shown you today, coconut water, tart cherry water, green tea, hibiscus water, and beetroot water, are not miracle cures. They are tools your body can use. They contain compounds that speak the language your aging vascular system understands. And when you begin giving your body that kind of support, something impressive happens. People get back some of their energy. They regain confidence in their independence. They stop feeling like passengers in their own lives and begin feeling more in control again. That's not a catchy phrase. That's what I've seen happen with real people in real time over many years of work in this area. Your independence, your mobility, your mental clarity, your ability to play with your grandchildren, to travel, to wake up and genuinely feel better, these things are not gone. They may simply be waiting on the other side of better daily choices. And today, by watching this video, you took a step in that direction. If this video helped you, subscribe to the channel because I'm here every week sharing research-backed guidance designed for your body, your stage of life, and your goals. And if there's someone in your life over 60, a spouse, a sibling, a friend, share this with them too. This kind of information belongs in more hands. And now I'd love to hear from you. Which of these 5 drinks are you planning to try first? Leave it in the comments below. And if you already use one of them, tell me what your experience has been like. Your story may be exactly what someone else needs to hear to take that first step. I read the comments and I always appreciate hearing from you. I'll see you down there and I'll see you in the next video. Take good care of yourselves. Everything here is general educational information, not medical advice. Nothing in this video is meant to diagnose or treat anything, and it isn't a substitute for your doctor. If you take medication, especially for blood pressure, talk to them before changing your routine.